Who tried to knock Carson Wentz out? Who wanted to fight Carson Wentz? And where the hell is Carson Wentz? We'll talk about all that and more coming up next.
The following announcement has been paid for by
The ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you feel
Sport.
excitement? And also,
the merchandise, wearing the hats.
Is what I'm seeing for real?
Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
I can't wait till this video's over so I can say his name anymore.
Music.
Wow.
Man, again, and I hate to do this again, but these are goofy.
What the hell? What is that? Whoa! What the hell?
And more.
What's his next book gonna be called? I see that coming.
It's Little Rocky, it's Little Apollo, and hey, yo, Scott Hall, get better soon. I'm professional wrestler Chris Wilde, live at bar 4133, and so much has went on since I last talked to you guys live. Free agency in the NFL has not even started yet, and guys are flying off the shelves like bread and milk at Walmart during a winter storm. But we're going to talk about one of the guys that I swore that I was going to try not to talk about that much on this channel since he left Philadelphia, and that is former Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz. We just can't seem to get rid of this guy. Earlier this week, a report from John McClain, the guy that Eagle players hate to talk to, but a lot of his stuff is true, I got to say. I can't stand the guy either. Came out with a report that during the 2017 season, during the playoffs, when Carson Wentz was injured, he seemed to get into a fight or almost gotten into a fight with one of the players that was injured with him because, all those guys trained together there at the NovaCare complex. And I guess the story, and again, this is bits and pieces that are being thrown around, but the story is that Carson Wentz said something like, hey, this kind of sucks that these guys are succeeding without me as quarterback. And somebody didn't like what they heard, and that somebody supposedly was Darren Sproles. That's right, all 5'6" of Darren Sproles. My height, guys got a little bit of more beef on me, but man, Darren Sproles did not like what Carson Wentz said, got in his face, and the two had to be separated. With that being said, later that day, Carson Wentz, and again, John McClain, maybe he knew, maybe he was reading the tea leaves, I don't know, but Carson Wentz was traded from the Indianapolis Colts after just 1 year to those Washington Commanders. That's right, the very first Washington Commander quarterback is going to be Carson Wentz. And the big winner in this whole thing is the Eagles' Howie Roseman. I mean, it was last year that Howie Roseman trades Carson Wentz, and everybody pretty much laughs at him. How can you trade this guy? You guys treat your players like shit. He was supposed to be your franchise quarterback. Wait till he gets with Frank Reich. Wait till he gets with a great offense, with a great running back, and a defense that's awesome too. Carson Wentz is going to be the MVP of the league. He is going to take the Colts to the Super Bowl. That's what we heard, and that did not happen. Now look, Carson's numbers weren't that bad, but the guy was did not want to get vaccinated during the COVID-19 pandemic that just disappeared, by the way. And look, that's his own personal choice, but it kind of cost the team games, maybe as 2 games out from the season ending. He did not get to practice against the Las Vegas Raiders because he tested positive for COVID-19. They lost that game, and then they lost to the worst team in the league in the Jacksonville Jaguars, as Carson had one of the worst passer ratings, or QBRs, or whatever you want to say, this season. So, with that being said, the Eagles get a first-round pick for Carson Wentz and a third-round pick, and Indianapolis ships them out. Well, they get back a couple third-round picks from Washington, and Washington is taking on Carson Wentz's $28 million salary. It's just unbelievable how far a guy has fallen. And the reason why I'm making this video is because it's very prevalent to those of us that have been watching the Philadelphia Eagles for as long as we have. And we all remember 2017, and it was a season that we will never forget. I mean, they won the friggin' Super Bowl. First year ever. I can die a happy man now. The Eagles won a Super Bowl, and Carson Wentz had a lot to do with that. He was absolutely elite that season. 2017, the guy was throwing bombs. The guy was getting out of sacks. He was, just one of those guys that you watch and you go, man, this guy is going to be a force in the league. I mean, we were talking about him being, the next Peyton Manning or maybe the next Tom Brady or being one of those guys. There was conversations, it's going to be Pat Mahomes and Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott's. They're going to be the Drew Brees, the Peyton Manning, the Tom Brady of the next generation. And then he goes and tears his ACL, watches Nick Foles get Super Bowl MVP, watches Nick Foles take them to the playoffs last year or the year after breaking his back. And I mean, the guy has just been injury riddled since then. Last year, I think he broke both his ankles during one play. Not laughing at the injury, but just the fact that, hey, only Carson Wentz can do that. And he's just never been the same since the injury. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this happen. I mean, we all remember old Sammy Sleeves, old Sammy Cross-Eyed, Sam Bradford. The dude tore 8 ACLs, it seemed like every year, and just wasn't the same guy once he got healthy. This happens to a lot of athletes because they're thinking about the past injury. There's that muscle memory there. Then it causes injuries elsewhere, but it really did mess with Carson Wentz. And not just that, just his psyche too. Seeing a guy like Nick Foles win the MVP in the Super Bowl in a year that you played just almost every game, and then it just seems like nothing can get better for him. He had the concussion in his first playoff game against Seattle. I think he was 3 plays in. Eagles draft Jalen Hurts. 2020 was one of the worst years I've ever seen a quarterback have, as Carson Wentz did. And I mean, look, obviously it wasn't the coaching, and obviously, I mean, Frank Reich is ready to get rid of you. When Frank Reich absolutely had this dude's back. And look, the Colts didn't help themselves out with trade value either. I mean, they seemed to bury this guy as soon as the season ended. It's going to be interesting, but I have to talk about it because now we're going to get to see Carson, Commander Carson as they're calling him, as he goes over to the Washington Commanders. I still have a hard time saying that absolutely asinine, horrible name. Commie Carson, you might want to call him. I don't know, but he's going to that horrible toilet bowl of a field. I mean, literally, there's poop coming out of the pipes where the fans are near, where the fans sit. It's insane. We all saw the guardrails fall down on Jalen Hurts last year. It's a cesspool. Quarterbacks get hurt in that building. He's not going to have a good time there. The Commanders, yes, they have a great defense. They have some interesting offensive pieces, but they're not the Indianapolis Colts. And the fact that Carson Wentz did not get the Colts to the playoffs in a year where there was an extra spot is just still, it's insane to me. It doesn't make any kind of sense. The fact that he's coming to the NFC East is going to have to play against the Eagles 2 times a year. That's going to definitely be in his head, and I just think it's a bad move by the Washington Commanders. With the players that they had available, and I know they, for some reason, thought Aaron Rodgers might come there. Yeah, right. Same with Russell Wilson. Jimmy G apparently isn't interested in going there, being traded there either. And now they're settling with Carson Wentz. It just doesn't make sense to me. You're giving up 2 third-round picks. I think one will be a second-round pick if Carson plays 70% of the snaps, which he played 70% last year, and it turned to a first for the Eagles. Just unbelievable, guys. But that's what the video is about. Carson Wentz, at the day that the report comes out that he almost gets in a fight with Darren Sproles by saying one of the worst things you can say, hey, it sucks even if you're thinking that, because obviously you're thinking that, right? You bring this team to the playoffs, you get them home field advantage, and then you see them in the playoffs and they're succeeding without you, and obviously it's going to mentally get to you, and yeah, there's going to be a part of you that might be like, man, this really sucks. I wish I was in there, and I wish when I wasn't in there, maybe they weren't succeeding, maybe it might make my ego feel better. It's horrible, but it's human nature. The fact that he said that to a group of guys that are also injured, the guys that were Eagles longer than him, is just insane to me. It's nuts. And Darren Sproles, if they weren't separated, yes, Darren Sproles is 5'6", but I guarantee you he would have stomped a mud hole in Carson Wentz and walked it dry. That being said, guys, that's all I got for this video. Everybody out there, stay safe, stay healthy, go Birds, and I'll see you later.
E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles! E-A-G-L-E-S Eagles!
I need Eagle Nation to stand.